Once upon a time, in a grand kingdom of golden spires and shimmering rivers, there lived a princess named Evelyn. She was admired for her beauty. Day after day, noblemen arrived at the palace, each speaking of riches, power, and alliances, but never of dreams, adventures, or kindness. Is this all they see? She sighed one afternoon, standing by her window. Frustrated, she wandered through the palace halls until she stumbled upon an old wooden chest. Inside, nestled in a velvet cloth, lay her favorite childhood treasure, a crystal ball that sparkled like the morning sun. A sudden rush of joy filled her heart. Grabbing the ball, she ran into the palace courtyard and tossed it high into the air, watching it twirl and catch the light. She laughed, feeling like a child again. But as she threw it higher than ever before, her foot caught a tree root. She stumbled. The ball slipped from her fingers, spinning through the air. With a soft plop, it fell into the ancient royal well. She rushed forward, leaning over the stone edge, her reflection rippling in the water below. But the ball was gone, swallowed by the darkness. "No," Evelyn whispered. Then a voice echoed from below. "Why do you weep, princess?" Startled, she looked down. From the depths of the well, two golden eyes blinked up at her. A small green frog emerged. "I can retrieve your ball," he said with a knowing smile, "but only if you grant me one request." "Anything," she blurted. "What do you ask?" "Spend the day with me," said the frog. Evelyn frowned. The request was strange, but she wanted her ball. "Very well," she agreed. The frog dived deep into the well, vanishing into the water's shimmering surface. Moments later, he emerged, the crystal ball held high in his tiny hands. She clapped with delight and grabbed it. "Thank you," she said, turning away. "Wait," called the frog. "You promised to spend time with me." Evelyn hesitated. "I already did," she said with a shrug and walked back to the palace, the sound of the frog's sigh lost in the wind. That evening, as the grand dining hall flickered with candlelight, a sudden knock echoed at the palace doors. A servant opened it, but saw no one. "Down here," came a small voice. The frog stood at the entrance, his tiny form casting a long shadow against the golden light. "The princess promised to spend time with me today," he announced. A murmur spread through the room. The king turned to Evelyn. "Is this true?" She hesitated. "What if it is?" she mumbled. The king, a man of honor, nodded. "Then let him in." The servants rushed to prepare a tiny plate and cup, and the frog hopped onto the table, sitting beside Evelyn. As the evening progressed, a grave matter of the kingdom was discussed, one that had puzzled even the king's greatest advisors. Evelyn listened, her mind racing with ideas. Finally, she spoke. "Perhaps if we—" "Enough," the king interrupted. "Leave this to the men, my daughter." She bit her lip, silenced once more. Then the frog cleared his throat. "There is more to a princess than her fine crown and royal dresses," he said, his voice calm but firm. After dinner, the frog prepared to leave. "You have honored your word," he said with a bow. "I shall trouble you no more." Evelyn hesitated. "It's not that late," she said, surprising even herself. The frog's eyes lit up. "I would be delighted." Shall we take a walk in the gardens? The frog's eyes lit up. I would be delighted. Under the silver glow of the moon, the princess and the frog wandered through the royal gardens. The cool breeze carried the scent of roses, and the stars flickered like fireflies above. The frog hopped along the stone wall so they could speak at eye level. They laughed about the absurdity of palace life, the silliness of suitors, and dreams of adventures beyond castle walls. As they reached a fountain, the sky erupted into streaks of deep red and gold. Evelyn smiled. Tonight was more fun than I expected, she admitted. I had a good time, too. The frog chuckled. A warmth filled her heart. Without thinking, she leaned down and placed a gentle kiss on his cheek. At that moment, a soft wind swirled around them. When Evelyn stepped back, the small green creature was gone. In his place stood a young man, dressed in royal attire, his golden eyes staring at her with familiarity and warmth. What? Evelyn gasped. The young man smiled. I am Prince Alric. Long ago, a cruel witch cursed me to remain a frog until I was kissed by a true princess. Her eyes widened, and she thought that would never happen. He nodded. But you saw beyond appearances. You chose to stay, to listen, to care. That was enough. A soft breeze rustled the trees. The stars shimmered like knowing eyes. As time passed, Evelyn and Alric spent more days together, their laughter echoing through the palace halls. And years later, when they ruled side by side, a carved golden bowl was placed on their dining table, holding a single treasured crystal ball. When the sunlight hit it just right, it sparkled for all to see, a reminder of the day a princess met a frog, and how the magic of kindness changed everything.